Hi, and welcome to the Ascension Playground. My name is Ursula, and today I am so excited. You've got myself, Robbie, and Jimmy, all three of us together. We have formed what we call together a divine triangle of loving support. We created this triad between the three of us as relatively new friends back in spring 2021. The genesis of the triangle really came from, well, I was listening to Lilac Lantern and then Nancy Jean, and that's how I met Robert with Akashic Attunement. And Jimmy and I, we've been friends for years, having met at Eric Pearl's Reconnection Healing, gosh, way back, years ago. So it's with great joy from my heart to say the three of us are here. We've activated our divine triangle of support, and we are ready to provide our first, what we're calling Healing Saturdays, to share from our hearts potential ways for us to all move forward through the Ascension Playground, where we can all lighten up, learn new tools to work with multidimensional energies, and to meet new friends, soul tribes, meeting each other on the Ascension Playground. So I think I just wanted to share with you, this is our genesis. This is how the playground came to be. Basically, three friends agreeing to follow Spirit's guidance and prompting. So we're going to do this little mini introduction of ourselves, and I'll start by saying, my name is Ursula. I'm a mom. I'm a professional painter. And I also love studying all things metaphysical and esoteric. This part of myself, the spiritual side, has long since been put in a closet and really hasn't been shared publicly until Robbie invited me on to Danny Shea's show, where I was like laughing so hard because I was nervous. But Robbie helped me get out of my own way to start telling my story and start inviting others to do the same. So that's a little bit about me. I'm based in California. I just love working. This is a painting I've done with water media and incorporating sacred geometry. So without further ado, here's Robbie.
Thank you, Ursi. I'm Robert, and I'm up here in Minnesota. And so I think in large part I'm a little bit colder than you are out there in California, Ursi. But what I do enjoy is I enjoy basically sharing what I've learned in my life journey about the esoteric side of our being. And that includes becoming an energy healer as well as a reader of the Akashic Records. And you might have mentioned it, but actually that's one of the things that we had in common, that we all went through the Reconnector program and learned that modality of energy healing. And so I've enjoyed sharing kind of that journey of learning. And I've been fortunate in the past couple of decades that I've had kind of a large group of friends that were also very metaphysically oriented. And so I've had the opportunity to share with them and to grow with them as well. And then I had the good fortune of meeting you and Jimmy, and to share with you as well. And so Jimmy, I'm going to turn it over to you right now.
Well, I'm Jimmy, and I live in Fargo, North Dakota. I had a spiritual awakening in the fall of 2011. Following spring, I spontaneously started feeling energy in my hands, and that kind of prompted this journey of healing for others, animals. Met Ursula in the summer of July of 2012 in San Jose, and at the Reconnection. We've been friends ever since, offering distance sessions to friends, family, and other people. So, not sure what else to say.
Well, if I could just add a few little 2 cents. You know, Robbie's right. What the common denominator between the three of us is that we are healers in our own unique way, and service to others is loud and clear when you look at our paths. And Jimmy, I got to just say, when people get to know you, they're going to find the most loving soul. You provide healing for animals, friends, people you don't know, and you do this just about every day. And so I'm just in awe of you. And with Robbie, oh my gosh, my first Akashic record reading before I knew who you were, Robert, was just like, it blew me away. It shifted how I saw myself in this lifetime. And so of course I had to call up Jimmy and say, oh my gosh, you got to get a reading from Robert. And then Jimmy's response was, I need to put him on retainer. I'm like, really? You're going to get more and more readings? Well, if you're going to get more readings, I'm going to get more readings. So I'm like emailing Robert, hey, can I have another one? You know, and then suddenly, you know, with Andrea's show, everyone, the tsunami came to get Robert on his schedule. So this is exciting that the three of us, in our own unique ways, are here on a playground. Well, if no one else has any other comments, we were wondering which animal, we're going to pick some animal cards. So let's see, to help guide us on the playground today. And the reason I do animals is because they're non-threatening. Animals can carry a beautiful energy. Let me see if I can make this a little bit less blurry. Here we go. Now I am introducing a card deck by Diana Cooper. She's got some fantastic YouTube messages on her channel. I believe she's based in the UK. And this is one of her many card decks called the Archangel Animal Oracle cards. It's just amazing. So as we typically do, I knock out the old energy and I breathe in the question of, show us 3 animals that want to join Robbie, Jimmy, and I today. So gentlemen, let me know when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. Then I'm going to do 3 decks. So Robbie, tell me which card you want me to pull from. First, second, and third.
Let's pull from the first deck. You've got your finger on it. Your left hand, I believe.
This one has more of your energy, just to say. It's for the collective, but this is more Robbie. Robbie, you got the turtle. Be joyful and trusting. Turtle time. Be joyful and trusting. And look, it's a water turtle. And the archangel that's associated with this animal is Archangel Joules. Jules. Never heard of that archangel. Okay, Jimmy, which do you want, the first or the second?
The
For
second.
your animal. The second. Okay,
And the
here's
top.
your, and the top. Okay. Jimmy, you have the deer that's come in for you. Trust, look, we got the word trust in the support of the universe. Wow, Archangels Michael and Faith have come in. It's so beautiful. We got a turtle in water and 2 deer. These look like your orbs, Jimmy, up in the cosmos. Here's the animal I'm bringing in. Bird, kingfisher. Okay, perfect medicine for me. Be patient and focused. I think we can all laugh about that one. And it's Archangel Bhokpi. I don't know. It's Indian for something. Bhokpi. Bhokpi. The turtle, the kingfisher, water, air, and earth. Well, thank you, animals, for joining us. Here we go. We're back to all 3 of us. Any comments about our animals?
Well, I like the aspect of the title in the sense that he's the ancient mariner. He's been around basically from the beginning, so so he goes back a long time, as do we. So
Great. What about you, Jimmy, and the deer? Does that bring up anything special for you?
Just that spirit of freedom, movement, running, on the plains. So, and they're gentle. They're beautiful when you see them out on the prairie.
Yeah, for me, the kingfisher represents like air, being in the sky, that freedom, but to remind myself to be patient because I do run fast. So I want to thank you both for your patience with me. Okay, well, I'm going to segue now to why we're here and what our plans are for the Ascension Playground. And we would like to start launching what we're calling Saturday Healing Conversations. So Saturday Healings. And we imagine this might being something like an interactive healing opportunities. So I'm going to invite Robbie to share a little bit about when we talk about Healing Saturdays. From your heart, what would you like to share on the playground?
well, I'm going to share some of the things that I learn when I move into my records. Many people are aware of the fact that our records, the Akashic Records, are a divine or energetic record of all our lifetimes here on Earth, and throughout the star systems as well, actually. But the Akashic Records is actually an excellent resource if you have a question about the nature of our esoteric being. If you can imagine, within the records is all knowledge that everyone has gained basically through their lifetimes. And so I oftentimes, and particularly in troubled times like we have right now, I'll go into the records and try to gain an understanding of the greater, or the bigger picture, the greater picture, the greater reality. And so what I'm going to bring forward today is actually the spiritual perspective of kind of what's happening in the Ukraine. And that is based on my going into my records and opening my records and listening for what they have to say about it. And for those of you that might not be as familiar with the records, everybody has the ability to open their own Akashic records. And there's a number of different ways that you can do it. You can do it through a sacred prayer, as I do. You can do it, or you could do it through meditation as well. And some people, they might actually be simply hardwired to do it, and they just naturally do it even with thinking about it. So. And for those people who have the ability to step into their higher self, to step through the veil, and to merge with their soul self and their greater self, that's another way. Once you do that, you're going to be merged with the soul self, and you will be completely, your records are completely accessible to you that way as well. So.
You know, the fun thing is if you don't feel comfortable or don't know how to open your own records, I mean, there's some books out there, but the shortcut really is engaging with Robert if he has time, or finding another Akashic record reader. But when you finally learn how to calm yourself down to open the records with whichever modality you use, it really is available to each of us.
It is available to each of us, and it's a great tool. And what it does is that oftentimes what you're able to do is to bring forward information that provides a healing of the heart through understanding. And that's the part that I really enjoy. And what that does is it provides potentially a release for the person. It provides an opportunity for them to understand the big picture of their soul's journey in this lifetime, and it kind of it releases them and empowers them to move forward. So
Love that. I'm remembering something that Wayne Dyer would say in one of his books about the word healing. The root word comes from the word whole, WHOLE, to make whole. And healing is that part of us that when we collect all parts of ourselves or understand the past and how it informs the present, there's the healing. So healing is not just, oh, I cut myself and I've got to bandage it, but it's this broader, multi-dimensional, multi-lifetime kind of how to make yourself whole. Well, and as since we're talking about the records, Robbie, do you have anything about Cryon that you might want to add as far as Akashic reading, or if you feel like now would be a good time to maybe you opened up your personal records to find out what was happening in the world for, especially around global affairs with Ukraine. And I remember you did that recently, and I thought maybe that might be helpful for people who might want to hear what you went through.
Yeah. Cryon has brought forward information recently about what it is that we might be able to do to hold our light relative to the troubled times that we're now experiencing. And we have decided that we're actually going to target one of our Saturdays to do that. So.
Great, so that's coming. So if you didn't catch that, that's like a little infomercial. More is coming for these, what we're creating, Healing Saturdays. I'm going to segue over to Jimmy real quick and ask Jimmy a few questions. Jimmy, when you think about Healing Saturdays, how would you like to engage on social media with others?
I think this platform is going to give us an opportunity for people to reach out, supply their name of their pet or a loved one that they would like to have healing sessions offered to. That would give me an opportunity to add them to my list. I do the healing every evening at 6:15 Central Time, so if they supply a name on Saturday, I will keep it on as long as they need it to be. So.
It's such a gift. You know, I've been talking with Nancy Jean with Nancy Jean's Garden on YouTube, and hope it's okay to share. She has remarked several times, I think even on air, how Jimmy, your healings come in as sparkling golden energy. And so, you know, all you need is, we can say a first name, a city, state, and if you're not in the United States, which country you're from. So we'll on a Healing Saturday have a chat line where if you need help or want help for yourself or a loved one or a pet, you can put that in. And Jimmy, aren't you already sending healing every day to Ukraine? Can you mention that a little bit?
Yes, I include Ukraine, the people, the animals, actually even Mother Earth. Just part of the prayer is to any place where there's conflict, whether it's in a personal home, city, school, church, between countries, ethnic groups, genders. I just extend it out to
coming from your heart. Yeah. You know, meeting you, I have to say, one of the most loving souls on the planet, who would, since we met in San Jose to do reconnective healing, you have gone beyond what we learned and are regularly sending out vibrations of healing. And maybe one Healing Saturday, we'll start talking about some of the joyful orbs of light that have also shown up to help support this kind of joyful energy sharing. And if I could add, I think we learned from Bill, who came on the playground, that there's what's called a loop effect. So as Jimmy is working with source energy and he's holding that energy and then sending it to a third party, so creator, Jimmy, and a third party who's asking for support, this is creating almost like an infinity symbol where the energy certainly goes out, but it's not one directional. It loops back to source and then to Jimmy and then back to the individual or the collective. So all I can say is if you want to play the game of adding your name and country and city and state, what do you have to lose as far as loving, healing energy coming your way? And just expect the miracles. But I do think you said one thing to me, Jimmy, that the recipient has to open up their belief system. Do you have something to add on that? Like,
well, I just say healing. They probably have more to do it than I do. You know, they need to be open, receptive, believe. So.
You can't just put people's names on and hope that they want to receive it. It's almost like getting these pre-agreements or allowance, and then expect the energy around 6:15 Central Time.
Yeah, the sessions last about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
If a person's able to lay down or just meditate or be open during that time, might be helpful. But the sessions are also offered with the intent that a person can ask to receive the session over again, or when they lay down to sleep. So if they're busy at that time, you know, they can just ask to receive it again.
That's beautiful. So that's what's coming. We've heard from Robert about opening the records. Jimmy's got the healing. I will basically inspire myself to start sharing more of the art that I've been creating that I haven't shared publicly yet, that involves specific sacred geometries, various colors, including rainbow light, and start giving some thought and story to why I create the art that's coming through. I don't mentally know it until it arrives, and then I sense into, okay, what is this about for myself and the collective?
And when we thought about our show today, there's something else that came forward for you. So
there is. So I'm learning about myself as we form our triangle, and thank you, Robbie. I realize that storytelling, I mean, thanks to you and Danny Shea, now you can't stop me from telling all these stories. They're like a gush, Scheherazade and the 1000 Arabian Nights. So here we go. When I knew Robert was going to open up the records to ask about the question of, please help us understand how to hold the energy within Ukraine and global affairs. What came to me as I was waking up was a story that I would never have consciously told myself to think about, but the archetype of the story that came through as I'm looking at what's happening around the globe was the story of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And in case there's anyone watching that might not remember what the Grinch looked like, let me share that with you. Let's see, here he comes. Okay, so this is the green guy is the Grinch, and his little dog, his loyal dog, Max, is right by his side. And I'm just going to do a quick thumbnail on the story of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and then we'll wrap. But here goes. Okay, I had to go back and read the story because I couldn't remember all the details, even though I've listened to it every Christmas, every year. The Grinch was born with a heart 2 sizes too small, okay? And he was disturbed by all the noise coming from Whoville, because he lived up in the mountains. So, you know, he has a hypersensitivity with his hearing. And so he really didn't like Christmas because of all the carols. It's like, oh, please, humbug. So he disguised himself as Santa Claus, and he snuck down to Whoville, went down mountain with poor Max in tow. He steals everything that he can see, including the last crumb of food, and he brought it all in his cart, Santa's sleigh, and he perched it on top of a mountain, and he was going to throw it in the dump. So come Christmas morning, what does he hear? He's shocked. He hears Christmas carols from the Who's in Whoville being sung on the morning of Christmas. And they were kind of holding hands, and they were happy to be with one another. And so then the Grinch realizes that there is a deeper meaning that he never considered. And so we talk about what is the true meaning of Christmas. And here's where I just want to segue a little bit over here and say I looked up the true meaning of Christmas. And in 1889, the American magazine wrote, the true meaning of Christmas used to be thought of as to give up one's very self, to think only of others, and how to bring the greatest happiness to others. That is the true meaning of Christmas, according to 1889. So I only add that for that layer of the who's in Whoville, and perhaps today where Christmas has moved to instead. But the true meaning of Christmas. So this is what happens. He's hearing their singing and he's in shock. So then he realizes that his heart has just expanded threefold. And he returns then, because his heart is so expanded, the gifts and celebrates then with the who's. They said that he found the strength within himself with that expanded heart to be 2 Grinches plus 2 during that moment of crisis. So I'm going to stop sharing because I've thought, why would I wake up with the story of the Grinch when I'm thinking about the world affairs in Ukraine? So whoever you want to play within the story as the Grinch, Max the loyal dog, and the who's down in Whoville, when you see it as the collective, it's not about a singular person being the Grinch, but it's almost an internal, okay, what can I do in this crisis? I can hold hands, I can remember who I am, and certainly we have to be astonished by the courage and heroism of the Ukrainians, knowing this is who we are, and singing and staying strong. So I'm just sharing that with you on the Ascension Playground as, my gosh, I wouldn't have wanted to think of that kind of metaphor, but here it came through and I'm sharing it with you.
I like the metaphor of saying and saying and staying strong. I really like that idea. And I promised that I would bring forward what I learned from the Akash and the spiritual perspective. And so this is, it's more than a little paragraph, and so I'm going to read that to you. After opening my records, this is what my masters, loved ones, and teachers had to say about it. From the spiritual perspective, what they said is that it is the response to the war that will have the greatest impact on humanity. The compassion, support, and concern that the war has evoked from the rest of the global community is a conscious energy that has all been projected into the global field of consciousness. It has even evoked and awakened a higher consciousness within many of the residents within Russia. And then they went on to explain a little bit about this field of consciousness. And they said that you can think of this field of consciousness as a great pool of energy that is shared by all of humanity. And this will be the lasting effect. The war obviously is a brutal and very dramatic event, but it will in the end have raised the consciousness of humanity in alignment with what the light workers feel and sense as the shift. There appears to be great darkness now on the planet, but there is even greater light. So please see this from this perspective, and do not fall into fear or depression now. Remain in your light and direct your missiles of love and light to the Ukrainian people who need it now. This is an act of compassionate action. And remember that consciousness is energy. And there's a part of it that I'm going to bring forward when we specifically talk about the things that we're going to do for ourselves. So, in our next program. But this is a great potential, basically here for the advancement of light over darkness, even though it appears very dark right now.
Thank you for sharing that, Robert.
Oh, boy, what a gift. So in case anyone was a little confused, Robert opened up his own personal Akashic Records, and he called in his team to help guide him to understanding this one question. And I moved into that multidimensional space by just waking up and hearing this story. And then I used my storytelling love to kind of parse it out. And Jimmy, every day in real time, is offering healing out to those who request it for themselves or loved ones who've given permission, or their pets. So this is the joy that we're here to share with you. I hope you'll consider subscribing and staying in tune as together we work through these new energies of 2022 and beyond. So gentlemen, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
last words as we move off the playground and into the next chapter?
Well, I look forward to be here for the next chapter, and I'd like to thank everyone for viewing today.
And I love you both.
You too, Jimmy. Okay. Well, bye from the Ascension Playground. We'll see you next time. Blessings.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.